Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Sarita. I had an unexpected haul yesterday. My iPhone broke, as it turns out, and since there is no Apple store here in Charlottesville, I had to drive to Richmond in the snow, in the blizzard. So I did that yesterday. Thank God there was like an outdoor mall, of course, as luck would have it, an outdoor mall over on the west side of Richmond. And so I hit the outer belt at Richmond, stopped at that mall. There was an Apple, and guess what? There was a Bath and Body Works and a Yankee Candle. And we don't have a Yankee Candle here in Charlottesville, and actually Yankee Candle stores are on the retreating side. i.e. the Yankee Candle stores are closing rather than opening across the country. So the chances are that you don't have a Yankee Candle very near to you either. So anyway, I was happy to go in and look, especially because I really liked those candles that I encountered at Target, their new little desert collection. So I thought maybe semi-annual might still be on anyway. So I stopped in at Yankee, and they dropped a really nice coupon on Bath and Body Works yesterday. And so I did pick up in store and did a little shopping at Bath and Body Works as well. So I'm here to show you what it is that I got yesterday. My Bath and Body Works is closed right now in Charlottesville. They are moving from one location to the other. And like an obsessive person, I called the 1-800 number, and I discovered that the new location is going to open up this Saturday. So I suspect they're going to act like semi-annual didn't happen, and it'll just be like, you know, a brand new floor set to walk into, but it'll still be a moment. So you might hear about that on Saturday as well. Okay, so let's start out with Yankee, because I didn't buy that much at Yankee. There weren't really very good, like, semi-annual deals going on, and all of their candles were regular priced. And I was watching Connor Loves Candles. He works at Yankee Candle, bless him. And he mentioned that while you can get the new desert line at Target, which is where I got it, and I noticed you can get it at Meijer too. So shout out to the Midwest. If you're close to a Meijer, they have them, and they even have the new 3 wicks, and they're on sale considerably. So lucky you if you're near a Meijer. But like I said, that's a Midwest kind of thing. Otherwise, you can pick them up in Target. They are not available in most Yankee Candle stores. They are just now, in the next few days, beginning to roll out to the Yankee Candle stores their new candles. So they let Target steal their thunder at half price. Honestly, I don't know who is running Yankee Candle, but like, they need help. And it's not just that. Their branding and marketing is whack. Like, some of their candle descriptions it's just, I don't know who is running the ship at Yankee, but they're making really poor decisions, and I don't think have the margin to be making mistakes. There are too many other competitors in this field. Okay, but let's pause on that. Let me get my Yankee Candle bag here. Dun, dun, dun. And just for fun, I did bring along the 2 that I already showed you that I got from Target, which is the Desert Blooms and the Aloe and the Agave. So there are 5 candles in this new little desert line, which, by the way, I really like the desert motif for this January season. So here's the thing. For the January-February candle burning season, there are at least 2 different ways that you can go. First of all, you can go with fragrances that fit January and February really well. So for me and my money, that is still like a lot of rustic outdoorsy candles that you could just as well burn in the fall. So anything with tree in it, even a little bit of smoke, definitely a lot of vanilla, and marshmallow and cashmere. All of those different things go so well in this genre. And you can even get away with a good degree of citrus as well, especially if it doesn't have traditional Christmas or seasonal seasonings and spices in it. So if it doesn't have a ton of like cinnamon and clove, for instance, a really nice citrus goes nicely in January and February. It smells bright. It smells fresh and it smells clean, which feels good for the new year. And if you mix it with like, still you can mix it with like a spruce, a balsam, a tree, whatever else. It just works really well. So there are the candles that just seasonally feel right for January and February. Between us, I kind of wish that Bath & Body Works, for instance, would kind of lean into that winter feels genre a little bit more than they often do. They go the other direction. So the second possibility is what I call escapist candles. And the escapist candles are warm weather candles. We are theoretically or allegedly completely sick of all of the rugged, outdoorsy, all of the cold weather, all of the spices, all of the Christmas feels. And so now we want to like go to Tahiti. We would rather sit on a beach, anything other than like the cold, dreary existence, which we're now looking forward to for the next 2 or 3 months, right? I would say that this, by the way, Bath & Body Works does that in spades. All the coconut candles come out in January and February, which to some degree is nice. Like I'm a tropical girl too, and there is a part of me. I woke up this morning and I'm like, I just want a coconut candle. It's just all I want this morning. I just want coconuts, maybe a little bit of sandalwood, maybe a little bit of cashmere, but definitely coconut, right? I've got this coconut sandalwood Bath & Body Works candle that I've been hanging on to. I don't know, I bought it sometime a couple years ago and it's sitting in there. And I noticed that the coconut and sandalwood is back on the floor for Bath & Body Works. I can't remember what the label looked like. I don't think it was like that impressive. But anyway, coconut and sandalwood is back in stores if you're that kind of girl or if you particularly like that candle. And because it's back in stores, I think I'll probably burn the one that I have and like do a little review on it. Not that anyone should need it because it's kind of a standby. Anyway, close parentheses on that. I think this fits really nicely into the escapist genre, this little desert collection, but it's not derivative of like what Bath & Body Works does in spades. So they aren't duplicating all of the like coconut and pineapples and coladas the way that Bath & Body Works does, but there is something really cozy and also escapist about desert. It is dry, it is warm, it is cozy, but it's also like bright and hot. And like, so it's in the genre of escapism, but it is its own little niche. If I was a candle company, I would totally do like a desert line every like January or February. I think it's like brilliant. Really do, at least conceptually. So, and these are the 2 candles that I picked up of the 4, which is Aloe and Agave and Desert Blooms. There are 5 in this collection, but one of them is like, it might either be an online exclusive or one that is going to be exclusive just to Yankee Candle brick and mortar stores. And I believe it was called Canyon Pine, but I could be wrong. And from all of the reports of Canyon Pine, I think it's just kind of like a ho-hum coniferous tree, but like nothing special. And some people are like, but why are we getting this now? Because there's nothing in it that seems overtly different than something we would burn in like fall or the Christmas season. So maybe a little bit of a miss in that respect. Otherwise, the other 4 are these 2 here, the Desert Blooms, the Aloe and Agave. And then there is Stargazing, which is a lovely purple color. And then there is Sweet Vanilla Horchata. I bought these, the ones that were in the store at Target at the time that I went to look for them were these 2 and Stargazing. And I thought I was going to love Stargazing, and I did not. So I did not end up picking it up, but spoiler alert, I did end up getting it. The Yankee store did not have any of the new candles, like in their either modern tumblers or 3 wicks, but weirdly on a low shelf, they had the wax melts. So I went up to the register and I'm like, so do you not have the new candles? And like the girl was actually really rude. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing is new, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, but these are new right here. We don't have the new candles, ma'am. But these are new and I'm holding them in my hand. So you do have them in the store in some format. It was a long conversation. It was irritating and it was rude, but finally I got out of her once I had expressed myself like more than I needed to. They did have all 4 of the wax melts, not the Canyon Pine though. All 4 of the wax melts had come in, but they had not received their tumblers or their 3 wicks yet. So anyway, I picked these 2 up because I've been kind of thinking about them. And I was in a Target the other day and they had gotten the Sweet Vanilla Horchata in and I smelled it and I was like, what? This is brilliant. I love this. And it's so bizarre because I had just written that one off as like, that's going to be the gourmand one. I'm not going to like that. I'll like the other 3. And it was kind of weird to me that I didn't like Stargazing. And then when I like saw the vanilla horchata, I kind of rolled my eyes and I like opened the lid and prepared for some sort of like confectionery onslaught. And it is stunning. But here's the thing. All the reports indicate that nobody likes vanilla horchata but me. And revealingly, all of my gourmand friends hate vanilla horchata and love Stargazing, which is so weird to me because I do not love Stargazing and I love Sweet Vanilla Horchata. So it's definitely like a role reversal and weirdness. And it may very well be that Sweet Vanilla Horchata is not really a gourmand candle. And frankly, I still don't know what Stargazing is because I don't think that it's gourmand and I don't understand why people like it. So, but I have them all and I'm gonna reserve judgment and I'm gonna like put these in my warmer and figure out maybe something will come out of it. These are real weird wax melts. Look at that. They're like these like funky like whatever. Anyway, it's fine. They can shape them however they want. It's totally fine. Let's just have a moment because these don't have the listed notes, and I didn't know what the listed notes were, so I had to go and find them online. And the ones that are just in Target, they gave some notes, but I don't know if they're as extensive as they will be on the Yankee Candle website once they get them in. So they're a little rudimentary. All right, so aloe and agave, and I've said this before, it smells like very bright, very bold, very fresh, very dewy, aquatic, green, all of which you would expect from like an aloe candle. But there is like a spiciness, and I said this, a spiciness as in almost like a black pepper spiciness. Yeah, it's got that like kind of herbal spicy nuance to it. So then when I looked at the notes, it was no surprise to me that there's coriander in here. That's what I'm picking up as like a spicy element. So the blurb talks about aloe tea leaves, interestingly. I'm not really getting a whole lot of tea. And to be honest, I don't know if it would be a green tea or a white tea or a black tea, but I don't know that I'm getting enough like robust blackness in it for it to be like a black tea. The coriander might be mistaken for a black tea, maybe, and blue lotus. But then the notes that Target, in the drop-down box, Target said that there was musk in it, aloe, agave, coriander, and peony. And I could see that now. There is like a floral botanical, but it's a very dewy green, yeah? And I would say it's dominated by that aquatic aloe. Yeah, there might be some musk underneath it. It definitely goes like, it's not particularly feminine. I don't know if it's quite austere enough for it to be called a true masculine fragrance, but it's definitely in that really strong like unisexual kind of, realm. And with the peony and the floral, that tells you that there's less of it and that it's being contrasted pretty well with the aloe, with the agave, with the coriander, with the musk. I really like it. This one is my favorite of the four, if you don't count Sweet Vanilla Horchata, which we're going to get to in a second. Then we had this one, which is less interesting. I think maybe less original, but I think a pretty good candle, Desert Blooms. We're not going to talk about the clip art right now. When we do an in-depth review, we'll have a real snarky moment and we'll talk about the 6-year-olds who are putting together this mess right here. It's incredible to me. It's beyond. It's beyond. You would think it's fine. We're not going to talk. We're not going to talk. Blooms. The blurb says rose petals, saguaro cactus, and sage. And I said that it reminded me a lot of Bath and Body Works rosewood. What is it? I think it's rosewood and patchouli. Rosewood patchouli. That candle that's real heavy. Yeah, it's just heavy. It's heavy. All of their rose candles do go a little too heavy in my opinion, and I'm not a huge rose person, but I do think they're just all extremely heavy for the most part. That one is heavy, and I do love like the more masculine, deep, dark, very herbal, not particularly sweet kind of elements, but that candle just always seems too heavy even for me. There have been so many times where I've picked it up and been like, I'll try it. And then I always end up setting it down and being like, no, it's gross. I'm just not going to like it. And if I don't like a candle like that, I think it's a problem because I don't know how many people would love like that rosewood and patchouli fragrance. If you like rosewood and patchouli, you would definitely like this. Very similar. And when I looked at the notes, I was like, yes, okay, this is what I'm talking about. The notes on this one are vetiver, sage, bergamot, driftwood, and rose. Well, if there was ever a list of notes that immediately told you that it was going to be number one, very perfumey with the bergamot, with the rose, but then with the vetiver and the sage going in that like funky herbal direction with the driftwood. Yeah. So this is definitely in the same wheelhouse as the Bath & Body Works Driftwood candle. For me personally, this one does seem a little bit brighter and lighter than what I recall from Bath & Body Works Rosewood and Patchouli. That said, they're very similar, and I'd have to smell them like right up next to each other in conjunction to make better associations or better comparisons. I obviously picked this one up from the store, whereas I haven't quite been able to bring myself to pick up the Patchouli Rosewood. So there's that, if that makes any difference at all. Okay, and then this is the one that I don't understand. I think it's underwhelming, and I don't understand why everybody loves it, but I'm obviously missing something, and that is Stargazing. Sorry about the light there. Yeah. So it's a beautiful, like, purple colored wax, if you get it, like, in this tumbler, yeah. And the blurb online says, lavender, eucalyptus, and vanilla sugar. And frankly, I can get behind that. I can't say I'm a huge lavender person, and I do think eucalyptus needs to be indulged with caution, but I like the fact that both of those are fairly austere elements with some vanilla sugar to lighten, yeah. And then the notes on it are, because I just looked them up, lilac, lavender, eucalyptus, sandalwood, and rose. So you've got you've got lilac and rose in there, those are heavy duty florals. Then you have lavender and eucalyptus, which are heavy duty like herbs or herbal elements. And then you have sandalwood, which could possibly cut them depending upon how creamy that sandalwood is, but could also add another austere element if it goes more woody, more exotic, etc. In the blurb, it says vanilla sugar, but then vanilla isn't really mentioned in the list of notes. However, it was a Target drop box, so, you know, it could very well be that the more extensive list will show vanilla and will show other things. Here's the thing, when I smelled it, I've smelled it like 10 times at this point, because every time I'm in Target, I smell it and I'm like, why does everybody love this one? And like, I just can't even begin to understand why. First of all, when you smell these in the jar, the scent on cold, the experience on cold is like an 8. Yeah. I mean, it just like comes out of the jar, like full strength, full color 8 out of 10. You smell this one and like you've got to get your nose like all up in it. Yeah. And then you get like a 4. A 4. That's part of the problem, is I can't even figure out what it is that I'm smelling because it's so weak. That said, I heard somebody review that like the Aloe and Agave one was weak and this was like a really strong candle when it was burned. And it's true that all bets are off when the thing is burned. There are candles that are very weak on cold or seem weak on cold, and then all of a sudden a larger than life personality when they're burned. Doesn't happen that often though. Kind of rare. Yeah. Usually you could kind of tell by the on cold experience what kind of strength, what kind of volume you're going to get from that particular candle. There are several candles that seem like they're going to be super intense from the cold experience that in fact are not. That happens much more frequently. When I get down in this, yes, it is pleasant. And yeah, I can get something vaguely floral herbal. And sweet. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna hold back on this, and I'll tell you when I melt it what it is. Unless I love it upon it being melted, it's just not one that I would get. While the other 3 are just so bold and so unabashed in the way that they come across, this one is just super ambivalent and super, like, this is a wallflower, if there ever was one. I guess I just don't understand why everybody likes it so much. I'm missing something. Here's the big surprise. Sweet Vanilla Horchata. Oh my gosh. So amazing. Wow, that's good. All right, so first of all, I was in Tucson last summer, and I've never been in Arizona before, but I was in Tucson, which is like very close to the Mexican border, and I loved it. I felt like I was in Mexico, basically. And there was horchata all over the place. And I was ignorant. I didn't know what horchata was before my Tucson experience. And the first time that I tasted it, I was like, done. Where do I sign? So good. So I get the sense that horchata is basically, I think it's some sort of like almost a sweetened condensed milk, or even an evaporated milk. So it's a milky kind of beverage, and it generally has cinnamon and sometimes some other spices in it. It's so good. And then when they mix it with coffee, especially when it's like a strong Latin coffee, like think like Cuban coffee, for instance. The coffee bean fields are all in South America. And they do it deep and they do it rich. Yeah, and then they put this in it. Stop. When it's iced, when it's like refreshing in that hot weather, there is nothing better than horchata. So that's what horchata is. And they're going with this like, I mean, that doesn't look like a lot of coffee there. I don't know what that is, to be honest. Horchata tends to be white and creamy like this. All right. So you would expect you'd expect the notes to be like a lot of cream, a lot of cinnamon, a lot of cream and a lot of cinnamon. You know what I mean? A lot of sugar, a lot of marshmallow, if you expected a company to do this. However, just very like gourmandy, yeah? Oh gosh, that's gorgeous. it does have carameled overtones to it. And vanilla. It's a vanilla caramel. But it's so sexy and deep and maybe nutty. I wasn't really sure what it was that I was smelling, to be honest. I just knew that it was brilliant and profound. Then I looked at the blurb, and the blurb says, as one would expect, sweet, icy rice milk. It doesn't have to be rice milk. I don't know why rice milk, but rice milk with notes of cardamom and vanilla. Well, that's a little weird anyway, because like most, at least Latin horchatas would not have cardamom more than they would cinnamon, but it's fine. It's fine. Whatever. Then, and here's where it gets real weird. In the drop-down target box, here are the notes. Vanilla, fine. Jasmine, amber, sandalwood, and rose. Okay, hold the phone for a second. This is being marketed as like a straight up gourmand beverage. And we've got jasmine, amber, sandalwood, and rose. And vanilla. If you looked at those 5 notes, would you think to yourself, well, this is a gourmand beverage. And in fact, it's a horchata. There's no spices in it. It doesn't smell like there's spices either. Yeah, I don't think there's spices in this. And now that they pointed out, it's like, oh yeah, it could be kind of a nice floral dimension behind there. Oh yeah, definitely amber. Oh yeah, maybe sandalwood. It does still have that strong, like, carameled vanilla dimension to it that goes in that, like, Sol de Janeiro kind of vibe a little bit. I wonder if all the gourmand fans that are really hating it, I wonder how much of it has to do with the complete marketing bait and switch on this, expecting some sort of gourmand beverage, like a sweet beverage, a sweet spicy beverage to boot, and then smelling it and being like, what is this? But if it was marketed correctly as some sort of like exotic Sol de Janeiro, I don't know what, like exotic floral, then would a lot of the gourmand people actually like it? Because I think they would. I think there's a very strong vanilla and caramel overtone that they would really like. And it's a sweet candle, which they would also really like. And it's got a lot of like that creamy, sultry, amber sandalwood, I don't know, with a touch of like a floral dimension. I just feel as though a lot of the people who are saying that they hate this, I think it may have to do with the fact that they're expecting a gourmand, and this is not a very good gourmand candle, and in fact does not represent a vanilla horchata on any level. Look at that. It's got a little cinnamon thing there too. Cinnamon stick. Which is of course not listed in either the blurb or the scent notes. Now, caveat and disclaimer, we have not seen the extensive scent list on the Yankee Candle website. So perhaps all will be revealed. Perhaps Target is incorrect and none of these things are in it. But I have to be honest, upon smelling it, it sure as hell smells a whole lot closer to that list of vanilla, jasmine, amber, sandalwood, and rose than it does sweetened rice milk with notes of cardamom and vanilla, or anything even remotely vanilla horchata. But I am here for it. So I'm gonna belt this up, and if it goes well, yes, I will definitely be buying that white candle, and I'll either buy it in this or I'll buy it in their fancy new 3-wick. There you go. I actually might even like this more than Aloe and Agave, and I really like Aloe and Agave. All right, so there you go. Those are the 4 that you're gonna see either in Yankee Candle or in Target or in other places. I do have to give Yankee Candle props though, because even Stargazing, which is not my favorite, is still like a decent candle. So these 4 are quite decent. And honestly, if only 2 of them were decent, I would be happy. If 3 of them were decent, I would be happy. All 4 of them being decent in their like winter like mini collection, I think it's a very strong showing for Yankee Candle in January 2024. The other two things that I got, and by the way, I know this video is going on too long, so I'm definitely going to need to split it up. We're just going to do Yankee Candle in this video, and then I will do another video of my Bath & Body Works stuff, because I think I got like 9 candles, so we are not going to try to do that in like 20 minutes. We need to have like a second. We need to allow all of the candles to breathe. We need to talk about them at length. You know how that goes, yeah? All right, so 2 things, and these were in their semi-annual sale like racks, which they didn't have a whole lot of, but they were clearancing off their 3 wicks. So these were their old 3 wicks right here, okay? They are 18 ounces and fairly short. So here, let me get you a, here's a Bath & Body Works candle, which we're gonna get to. Look what I found. Ha ha ha, balsam and firewood, semi-annual. It was just sitting at the front, you know? Yes. This was an online exclusive, and I found this in the store by the register, so I was really happy. Anyway, this is just for size things. So this is a 14.5. This is an 18, and as you can tell, the 18 one is shorter than the 14.5. So for it to be shorter and also considerably more in terms of ounces, that means that they are much broader across the base. So do you see that difference? Yeah. See, this is just like really wide, and this one is like whatever. And they're both 3 wicks. So the problem that everybody was having with this is that the 3 wicks were not quite sufficient enough to like pool in a good like period of time, which is why Yankee Candle has reformulated, and now they're coming out with a 3 wick that's basically like this, and it's like this size. But then they're getting like wrapped for like, now you're just trying to compete against Bath & Body Works, and it kind of looks like they are, but it wasn't that they didn't try to do something a little bit more idiosyncratic and unique. I personally like this, and I'm interested to see how they burn, because all things being equal, yes, it is a broader like diameter there for 3 wicks, but I still feel as though it should burn pretty well. I mean, for me, like the ratio of wick to wax, it doesn't look that bad. I don't know why they should do badly. And if they were really concerned about it, I guess they could have done 4 wicks. The more wicks that you add, though, it is more potential for like sooting. So I could see where they wanted to stay at 3. And I wonder if they could have just done it a little bit smaller, like done a smaller diameter, like kept it kind of on the shorter side to distinguish themselves from Bath & Body Works a little bit. And at any rate, this is all just idle conjecturing, because obviously they have their own marketing team and they've made an adjustment, and we'll have to see how well the new Bath & Body Works ones go. I kind of like these personally. Yeah. So we'll have to see how they do. Anyway, this is white spruce and grapefruit. And this may have been a candle that's been out for some time. Honestly, I took a real hard break from Yankee Candle for about a decade. Once the Rubbermaid debacle happened, and it became obvious to me that it was not the Yankee Candle that I grew up with, I just kind of cut them out of my life like a toxic influence. And it hurt my heart too much to continue purchasing candles because of just the memory and the place in my heart. Like I couldn't do it. It was just better for me to like, they're just dead to me. They're dead to me. It was a memory, it was a time, and it's over, and I need to move on. And I started looking at other candle companies. I've been making some baby steps, you know what I mean? And I do think it's hard for a candle company to be so bad that they don't have some candles coming down the pike or that are on their shelves that are quite good and decent. And frankly, when it comes to candles, I'm pretty promiscuous. I'll try anything at least once, you know? What do we got going on over here? I'm a very, like, free market girl, too. Like, like I'm taking a pause right now on Kringle for the most part. And so maybe Yankee Candle will like fill that place a little bit. I'm gonna try some other thing. I'm gonna range in different fields for a bit. And I love the fact that we have those choices and we have those options. All right, so close parentheses, white spruce and grapefruit. I kind of get the sense this has been out for a hot minute, but I don't remember it back in the 90s. Maybe it is that old, but I kind of suspect it's not. So I almost didn't get it, but then I remembered that I was having a grapefruit moment. You know what I mean? Because I have that Village candle, and I have the Homeworks candle, and I want to get the Kringle candle, grapefruit and rosemary, and I love grapefruit. And as I said, it's a really great period for grapefruit candles, citrus candles, especially if they have a little bit of pine or spruce, even better, and this one did. And it smelled pretty good. It smelled pretty fresh. It's got a real effervescence to it, but thank God it's not like a Prosecco effervescence. You know what I mean? Or like a Anthropology Blue Volcano or a Capri Blue Volcano kind of effervescence. It's not like that, you know? It is like an effervescence that you would get from zesting an orange peel. It's the peel part of it. That part is zesty and effervescent, but not like in a carbonated kind of way. Yeah? And I'm getting a lot of that zest, and it is gorgeous. And yeah, I think there is a little bit of a spruce note underneath. I don't know how well it's going to come out. I would love for it to come out a little bit more than it is here on cold. The notes for grapefruit are, oh, they're extensive. Top notes: grapefruit, pomelo, pine, orange. Then the mid notes, I have spruce, black currant, pineapple, and fir needle. And then the base notes, rich balsam, vanilla bean, musk, and white cedar. That's a whole lot of notes, and really only like one or two of them are coming through, at least on cold. It's basically your grapefruit. Yeah, it could be pomelo, it could be orange. They're all kind of up in that range, in that very high citrusy range. But I would say that it is more grapefruit than it is orange in the way that it's coming across. It's got that like tangy tartness that is distinctive to grapefruit as opposed to orange, which I love. And then it looks like you are or should get a lot of like coniferous. So you've got spruce, you've got fir needle, you've got pine, and you've got a white cedar, and you've got rich balsam. All of those notes are listed at various moments in their list notes. So I would like to be smelling it a little bit more than I am here on cold. And if I didn't know that all of those coniferous trees were in this candle, would I be able to smell them? I don't know. That peel note is just so overwhelming. So I'm really hoping that the pine comes out, the balsam comes out. I think your musk, your vanilla bean, and like those other little fruits are definitely just going to be supporting cast on this one, and just kind of a filler note to kind of marry the coniferous tree with the grapefruit. But I'm really excited to try this one out. I think it's lovely for January, and even the motif packaging and marketing is quite decent as well. It's not brilliant, and it is a little tiny bit tacky, but I've definitely seen a whole lot worse, especially from Yankee Candle. And then I have one more of those that was on clearance too, and I'm really excited about this one. This was from their fall lineup, and this is Evening Riverwalk. Also kind of a little tacky. I don't know what all this nonsense is, but I do love the colored wax, and I love the copper lid. I think that's very classy, yeah? The Yankee Candle and the name do not really pop the way that they should, because it just looks like it's been like, I don't know. It looks like it's a wraparound label, and it looks like they've printed it on like a home office computer printer off somebody's laptop. Okay. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna go there. Okay. Ooh. You know what this is? And when I smelled it in the store, because I smelled this when it came out in like September or October. And actually there were a few of the fall ones that I thought were kind of interesting, but I was like pausing on Yankee. There were so many other candle companies and I was like, I don't know, you know? But now, here in January, after what has happened from Bath and Body Works, this candle fits right in between Moonlit Graveyard from Bath and Body Works and Cocoa Roasted Chestnuts. Very similar candle to both of them. And if you watch my Bath and Body Works year in review, you will know that the Graveyard and the Cocoa Roasted Chestnuts were my two most odd candles of the year. And they're actually very similar. And this one is like almost a perfect cross between Graveyard and Cocoa Roasted Chestnuts. I don't know that it has a cocoa or a chocolate dimension to it, but there is definitely a very strong tonka bean or cocoa butter, shea butter kind of smell to it, which reminds me very much of like the Cocoa Roasted Chestnuts vibe. Very deep, very musky. This one is more musky and more like overtly masculine than both of those two from Bath and Body Works. And there is kind of a green, I don't know if it's a true mossy dimension, but there's a very like rugged, possibly herbal, possibly woody dimension to this, along with like the shea butter that kind of reminds me of the Graveyard candle, which had the moss and the incense in it. Yeah? All right, so the notes on this one are, no surprises, top notes bergamot, cardamom, red cedar, birch bark, mid notes, and here's where like the heart of the candle I think is, amber, suede, black vanilla. So see that amber, the vanilla, and the suede, that's giving off that like cocoa butter, shea butter kind of situation. And then on the base notes, smoked oud, burnished leather, and mahogany wood. So you've got some leather notes there, you've got some wood notes, you've got a spice note with the cardamom. You have then the amber and the vanilla, and the suede. I think all three are giving it a very creamy dimension. And I would say that there's a lot of vanilla in this candle. And to be able to stand up to all of those woods and leathers, you almost need a very strong and like a vanilla with a great deal of integrity, I think, to really work. And this one does, I think. That being said, if you don't love men's colognes, I don't know that it goes in a true cologne direction, and it's definitely not like a standard men's cologne, yeah? But if you don't like anything like that, you don't go in that more masculine direction, you may not like this candle. I don't know that there's enough vanilla in it. I don't know that it's quite balanced enough in terms of its sweetness or in terms of more elements that would be considered more feminine for you to like really love it in the way that you might even like coffee and whiskey, for instance, from Bath and Body Works. But if you liked cocoa roasted chestnuts and or Moonlit Graveyard, which was their Halloween candle, I think you would really like this candle. Now, I don't know how it performs, and I do have it in a 3-wick, so I'm hopeful. But yeah, I think I kind of liked it when it originally came out, like in August or September or whatever. But now, especially that I have burned and have come to love and appreciate so much two Bath and Body Works candles that came after that, which was the Moonlit Graveyard and the Cocoa Roasted Chestnuts, I am even more like, oh my gosh, yes. When I smelled this in the store, I actually didn't even see it on the clearance rack. I just kind of smelled it over where they had like one of these. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know what that smells like. When I originally smelled it, I don't think Moonlit Graveyard Cocoa Roasted, I don't know why I keep saying coconut. Cocoa Roasted Chestnuts didn't come out until like late. Into the like holiday season. So I definitely wouldn't have smelled that. But I don't even think I had smelled the Moonlit Graveyard. So I had no frame of reference for it, and I think I found it intriguing. But then when those two came out and I kind of made that connection, it made me like really love this one even more. Between us, as much as I like this one, I actually kind of like Moonlit Graveyard and Cocoa Roasted Chestnuts a little bit more. And I think they're a little bit more nuanced than this one. And in some ways, I kind of feel as though this one is derivative of both of them, but maybe that's just because I've experienced the other two before this one. I don't know. At any rate, really excited, and I'm definitely going to be burning that maybe soon. Maybe soon. Yeah? I'll try to. All right, that's what I've got from you. That's what I had from Yankee Candle. And I ended up spending like 30 bucks. These were full price. They were like $5.50. These like wax melts. And I really wanted to try Vanilla Horchata. I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that I'm like buying a gourmand candle. So there's part of me that like I couldn't quite spring for the full price to like this one yet. Because I still can't believe that I would like a gourmand candle. And so I'm kind of happy to just try it out in the wax melts and be like, do I like this? Is it for real? And then this one I just have not been impressed with. So I'm happy to pay $5. Try it. Maybe I'm missing something and it'll be obvious. So those were $5.50 each. And then these were $10, these ones right here. And I believe this one is not available online anymore, but the white spruce and grapefruit is, and it's $10.80 on the website right now on clearance. So if you like that fragrance or want to try it out, I think it would be pretty easy for you to do that. All right, as promised, we're going to break. We're just going to leave that be the Yankee Candle, and then I will record a Bath & Body Works one in a second. And I don't know when I will upload them, but that's Yankee Candle. I'll list all the information if it's available somewhere down below, and I'll catch you in the next one.